Sénatrice Petitclerc, vous avez la parole.
Senator Petitclerc, you have the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Senators, I rise today to support Bill C-20, an act respecting further COVID-19 measures. My speech today will deal with Part 2, which seeks to facilitate a one-time payment of $600 by Employment and Social Development Canada to individuals with disabilities.
I want to thank Minister Carla Qualtrough for her work in the last few months in making this happen. But while I am sincere in my gratitude, I cannot help but think it's about time, and is it enough? I joined many organizations and individuals from the disability community who share both appreciation for the work of Minister Qualtrough, but also great concerns that persons with disability, while they have been affected by COVID-19 in a disproportionate manner, have been somewhat of an afterthought, receiving much-needed financial help too late and too little. Il faut dire qu'il y avait un
It must be said that there was a challenge, that is ensuring that all individuals with disabilities could have access to this financial aid efficiently and fairly. Administrating the support solely through the Disability Tax Credit, DTC, might seem logical, but because of the shortcomings of this program, a number of people with disabilities would not have met the criteria. Everyone agrees that the DTC needs to be reformed, a conclusion that is also supported by the Disability Advisory Committee struck by the Minister of National Revenue, Diane Leboutillier. I know that the government is working on it, but in the meantime, what should it do?
To deliver this payment through the Disability Tax Credit Certificate, Canadian Pension Plan Disability, or Quebec Pension Plan Disability Benefits, or disability supports provided by Veterans Affairs Canada. With the 60 days window to apply for the Disability Tax Credit Certificate after this bill receives royal assent, it is believed that this one-time payment could help 1.7 million Canadians with disability. Many fear that too many individuals with disability will fall into the still existing gaps. For example, family living with the spectrum of autism. This government needs to make sure that this will not happen. The financial challenges to persons with disabilities are many. Cost of PPE, support workers, increased use of taxi or delivery services like groceries, to name a few. For many, the one-time payment may very well fall short. Think about it. CERB provides for $500 a week. If you live here in Ottawa, for example, the Ontario Disability Support Program will provide $1,169 a month. So even with this one-time payment, the struggle is real. N'oublions pas qu'il y a
Let's not forget that 6.2 million people with disabilities live in Canada. 49% of them receive assistance for their daily living, and 40% of those of working age are unemployed. Furthermore, 42% are at least 70 years of age, which makes them even more vulnerable.
Behind the numbers, there are stories. There are Canadians going through this unprecedented time with substantial added obstacles. As a visually impaired person told me, this has become a touchless world. I have never felt so blind in my life. And with a sense of humor, how on earth do I teach social distancing to my dog? A wheelchair user with very limited mobility told me, how am I supposed to deal with touchless delivery if I don't have the capacity to pick anything from the ground? Une dame malentendante me raconte.
A woman with a hearing impairment told me, "I fully support mandatory masks in public indoor spaces, but I can no longer read people's lips."
Une jeune fille
In Quebec, Rosalie Delphard-Simard, who is deaf, was even refused access to a business because of her mask that had a transparent part.
moi-même qui ai
Yesterday, I, who unreservedly support the extension of patios onto sidewalks, found myself facing a new patio. I didn't have enough space to get by, and there were no temporary ramps to get around.
to individuals who, for many reasons, lost their personal home support and therefore their autonomy. There are horrible stories of individuals confined at home, unable to cook, to get dressed, suddenly with no more or very limited support. Whether their support is distancing, quit, opted for CERB, or chose to work in long-term home when the salary increased, in Quebec, for example. I will spare you the details out of respect for their integrity, but this should never happen in Canada. I realize, Mr. Speaker, that this may be distant from the bill that we're about to vote on, but as a Canadian with a disability, I feel it is my duty to voice those injustices. Only a year ago, royal assent was given to Bill C-81, the Accessible Canada Act, with unanimous support from the House of Commons and from the Senate. And now here we are in this pandemic with Canadians not being vulnerable, but made vulnerable because of the lack of services, the lack of planning, the lack of intent. Maybe it is time to walk the talk. We're all in this together, and it is together that we will get through it, leaving no one behind. So this is my plea for this government, for the provinces, municipalities, businesses, organizations, and for each of us to take care of one another and to make sure that when we think, plan, invest, when we move forward and towards this new normal, when we recover as a country, we always keep in mind the 6.2 million of Canadians with disability, and therefore, no one will be left behind. Merci.
Thank you.